Hi, this is Jill. I'm just following up on my video from a little bit earlier. So I wasn't able to find like videotape or like recordings of the sessions that were held at the WorkFirst Alberta summit recently, but I did go through the plenary, and well, first of all, like, to my eye, and I did go through it twice just to make sure I didn't miss anything obvious, but and at the risk of speaking for others that don't need anyone to speak for them, quite frankly, there were no self-advocates to my eye at this event. When I went through the session, like the schedule panel sessions from the different like organizations that are like, most of them are funded presumably through this initiative, the current initiative, I saw only one panel presentation to my eye that apparently had like 2 individuals with presumably some sort of disability that were speaking about their experience. Like, it was like a panel session with like, I think it was like an employer, 2 individuals, like participants, and like, and it did happen to be LifeMark. Someone from that organization must have been facilitating it. And first of all, there were 1 or 2 spelling errors in that panel session description, which was off-putting right away to me. And then my other critique right away would be like the CEO or whatever, like the person from the agency was highlighted, like their picture and their profile, but like the employer's information wasn't provided. And like, most importantly, the individuals who spoke on the panel like didn't have a profile, like unless they might have it might have been their choice, like that they didn't want to have that, or it was something that was cobbled together very, very last minute by the presenting agency. But oh God, where was I going already? I got, the spelling errors really right away. It was like, oh my God. But like, so to my eye, and I think there was an individual, and I do apologize, I should have written down like an individual who happens to have a disability who was there performing. I think he might have been he is a piano player professionally, but so there's no self-advocates. And like I said, I don't want to go there too much because that's not my place, but you know why there's no self-advocates there is because like Jason Nixon and the ministry cut the funding to almost all the self-advocacy organizations in Alberta prior to dropping the hammer about like AISH moving to ADAP. And like, I mean, I just want to, I want to be careful, but like, that was pretty cold-hearted and calculated, because if you take away like presumably like the at least the financial means for people to get together and to like advocate and like discuss issues and to get information that's accessible and support with advocating, like, of course this government was going to do that because they're cruel. Okay, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, so going through the plenary, and then like, now I haven't met this individual. I just read her biography, but it's like the executive director for the government that's rolling this out. Like, she worked at a frontline agency. I don't know how long ago it was, but for 4 whole years, like doing employment, and then like she's been with the government for 3 minutes, and like, it always amazes me, actually, because like I'm pretty modest that way, like, and I know that belies the fact that like the only reason I put like MDCS on my profile is because I'm so pissed off at what happened with me at work, because I was such a low flyer, and like, who the hell cares, right? But it's like how people like will like have 3 minutes of experience doing something somewhere, and it's like, oh, they've led all these change initiatives and blah 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 blah, and then I go look, and like if I was like, I mean, I'm not saying she's not qualified, I'm just saying like it's just a theme of what I noticed since I've like, anyways. So there's that. And like, all the like the fancy words like innovative, data driven, basically trying to sell this stuff as being informed by individuals. Oh yeah, and sorry, I forgot my point I want to make with the LifeMark thing. My last critique is like, oh my god, like, again, like, oh, this is what can happen if the government of Alberta gives like a grant to, like, in this case it was LifeMark, but like there's many different agencies, but like, if you give us your money, government of Alberta, and we get the 35% overhead on top, operating costs on top of like whatever we put in our in a response to an RFP, like our proposal, and like, but anyway, like this plenary, like, that could have been taking place like 25 years ago. Like, I don't understand. Like, and this is like millions and millions of dollars going out the door to like however many agencies now in Alberta, a lot of it federal monies. And then there's like all these highly paid government of Alberta staff with like 14 minutes of experience apparently, who are like heading up these like initiatives. And like, yeah, like a lot of these sessions to my eye are like, like, yeah, they're organizations that are currently getting funding from the government of Alberta. So, like, their cost to come to this conference is covered, etc., which is normal business standards, but like, it needs to be mentioned because it's like, organizations, a lot of them are there to promote like their reason for existence, right? And continued existence. Like, I don't know what this Thrive thing is. I've got to read more about that, but like, some of these individuals who own these companies, it's like, well, how can they make themselves like a crap load of money for many, many years to come? And what everyone seems to be forgetting, if they actually work in the disability field, is that ethically, our job is to try and work ourselves out of a job with the individuals we're serving whenever we can. So, all these agencies are getting whatever it is. I think the standard's about 35% for their overhead, right? you know, and yeah, it was pretty disgusting to me that, like, how many people with an actual disability were actually at this thing? And, like, I should have written it down, but, like, you know, there's gonna be, like, whoa, we're making this bold new path forward, blah, 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 and then talking about things being, like, evidence-based and all this. It's all... Alberta's, like... I think there's only one other province that doesn't have, like... that hasn't done, like, the federal disability accessibility, like, framework thing yet. Oh yeah, and then I have to look up, like, these Deloitte people. You know, because they're probably, like, making huge bank on, like, you know, they're consultants, and they're consulting with the government and, like, how to, like, get all these people who are on age into employment. You know, let's find, like, cute and fun and special ways to, like, lie to everyone. And we'll call it innovative. And we'll call it bold. And we'll talk about, you know, inclusion. Yet, you know, what were there, 4 people with disabilities at that event? I'm guessing. I stand to be proven wrong. I mean, including Jason Nixon, 5.